Good morning again. Now, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much, Polytechnic, for inviting me here. Thank you for the Department of Innovative Center of Innovations of PB to invite me. Now, my topic today, my presentation is Importing Teachers' Creativities and Braveries for Innovative Teachings in Primary School. Now, I am a primary school teacher. Now, just recently, I just been posted to working in Bandar Seri. Previously, I was working for so many years in Pemburan district. Now, my name is Abdul Walid bin Misli, and I'm the head of departments at the Bravery Primary School. Now, I really want to say this yesterday. Teachers are important. I'm not saying this because I'm a teacher in Brunei, but I'm saying this because teacher is the real asset. It drives the systems of our education to a higher platform. Now, there are policy makers, there are curriculum developers, but the real war is actually happening in schools. Now, we need teachers in every school, and we need teachers in every classroom. Now, whether your school is small, whether your school is big, whether your school is huge, whether your school is old, whether your school is new, we need teachers. Now, what kind of teachers do we need in this 21st century? Well, first of all, yes, we need 21st century teachers. Now, why? Because we need to lead the 21st century education. We need to lead the 21st century school. We need to guide students for the future because they are the 21st century students. And last but not least, in Brunei, in context in Brunei Darussalam, is for Brunei National Vision 2035. Now, before I move on to my presentations a bit deeper, I would like to recall back what is our Vision 2065. Now, Wawasan Brunei 2035 or Brunei Vision 2065 aim to turn Brunei Darussalam into a nation widely recognized for a well-educated and highly skillful people. We have a good quality of life and to provide a dynamic, sustainable economy. Now, to realize this, the committee of SPM 21 has established, the Wawasan 2035 committee has established with the Ministry of Education Brunei and creating a system which we shortly know in that SPM 21, which means National Education System for the 21st Century, was launched in January 2009 to serve as a platform to realize this Wawasan 2035. Now, since then, the Ministry of Education has released two strategic plans, which is the 2007 to 2011 and the 2012 and 2017. Now, highlighted in this 21st SPM 21 strategies plan is our vision and mission. Now, first thing is our vision, the MOE vision, which is quality education. And the next one is the mission to provide holistic education for fullest potential for all. Now, what does it mean in our context of teaching and learning? Now, in the SPM 21 curriculum framework, this is much, I think most of the educators in Brunei have seen this. Now, the core, the biggest business is our learners, all right? The main target of the learners curriculum is the learners. The teaching and learning process is tailored to the needs, ability, and learning styles of the learner so as to actively engage them in all learning activities effectively. Now, how do we align this kind of dynamic curriculum frameworks into our school, to our classroom? How do teachers, how do leaderships in school actually build up this frameworks in primary school setting, for instance? Now, well, to provide a quality and holistic education, you need to have a good, brave leaders in schools who can lead schools to this 21st century education. Our SPM 21 curriculum is centered for learners' outcome. Thus, a change of leadership styles needs to change. Now, I'm going to bring you I want to introduce you Professor Vivian Robinson, who is a professor at the University of Auckland. Now, she had introduced the term student-centered leadership, which centers on learners' outcome. Now, leadership that makes it different to the equity and excellence of students' outcome comes from the leadership Now, SSL is not more than well-managed schools, good relations with staff and parents, innovation and school reputation, but the leadership bring about the impacts on the learners, which is the students. Now, she designed this framework. There are 5 dimensions: establish goals and execution, resourcing strategically, ensuring quality teaching, leading teachers' learning and development, and ensuring an orderly and safe environment. Now, with this 5 dimensions, it can guarantee in her research that it produces high-quality teachings and learning. Now, here is the statistic that she has gained. Now, she differentiated the transformation leadership between pedagogical leadership. I'm sure pedagogical leadership is the one that she's focused on the student-centered leadership. And this is her result too. Among her findings, she found that the leading teacher learning and development has a higher effective size. Now, in Brunei, in context of leadership in Brunei, starting 2010, the Ministry of Education has taken a robust initiative how to develop leadership in school. Now, the first one is School Leadership Program. It was collaborated with University, Brunei, and Action Learning Associations in USA. It took several months to finish the course. We learned how to be a solution, to be a problem solver in our school, to identify which curriculums, which skills, or which values that need to be taught up by the school. For example, if the school's literacy levels are very poor, we need to find some kind of solution for that. If the school's outcomes of numeracy levels are poor, how do you overcome this? All right, and the other one is PIC's ICT Leadership Training Program. It's done, I think this was under EPDRA initiative. It also built up the leadership skills in terms of readiness through the psychometrics evaluations for school leaders. How can they manage ICT's program in their schools? Now, having a good brave leaders alone is not enough. We also need brave teachers. Now, I like this quote, the late Rita Pearson. She was an educator in the USA. Now, every child deserves a champion, and adults who will never give up on them, who understand the power of connection and insist they become the best they can possibly be. Now, for teachers, we need to remind ourselves that we are building not just classroom, but we are actually focusing individuals' learning, personalized students' achievement. Now, in 2010-2011, Microsoft, to their partners in learning program, they did a collaboration of research looking into the 21st skills of 21st century skills, right? 21st century. And they have discussed it that knowledge building, self-regulation, assessment, calibration, skills, communication, problem solving, and innovation, global awareness, and ICT use are the necessary skills that students need to have for their future or for this current generation, which is the 21st century. Now, and then in 2007, Brunei joined in. There was LEAP 21, and they changed the name into 21st Century Learning Designs. And with this conversations around, EDRA started to adapt, with the help of Dr. Walid, to work a framework called Whole School ICT Level Framework. Now, this focuses on SPN 21 pedagogy. You'll see on the screen that they have actually compared what kind of curriculums or teaching or learning before SPN 21 and how does SPN 21 curriculum should have been reflected. Now, they'll talk about the teaching method based on chalk and talk, and for 21st century curriculum should have a dynamic or diverse technique, but involved in something to more toward fun, play, and learn more. Now, before SPN 21, it was teacher-centered, but after SPN 21, it's what we already understand that it's student-centered based. And there's also talk about the use of ICT in the curriculum. during the past, before STM21, there was a minimum use of ICT, but STM21 curriculum today, you are very insist to use technologies in the classroom. Now, I'm going to show you some brief stories that I did when I was teaching in Temburong district. Now, when I first started teaching in Temburong, the most challenging part was trying to ask your students to respond to you back in English, trying to ask your students to talk English with you. So I wanted to find a solution. I wanted to find a solution which is authentic, which is real. So I decided to create a project which involved learning outside their normal day, which is bringing the learning outside the school. So I built up, I designed a learning that consists of them to predict what is the food and drinks that available in a certain restaurant at that time. And the students started to be engaging. They started to predict what kind of food or what kind of drinks is available to that restaurant. And they actually recorded their predictions using Microsoft Office Word. Now, I'm dealing with primary school. These tools like Microsoft Office Word and basic tools are very new to them, all right? They understand that, they only understood that computers are actually for playing games. But what I'm trying to give a sense is that computers can actually also help them to learn in school or outside school. Now, the next phase of it is that I wanted them to use email. So I asked them to send the prediction and attach it using the email and send it to my emails. And the next one's strategies is actually going outside the school, bringing the students to actually collect data and to communicate with the chef, to communicate with the workers, and trying to see if their prediction matches with the real environment, real menu. Now, as you can see in this picture, as you see there's a mobile devices such as camera and mobile phone. Now, actually, these digital devices are the digital devices that they have chosen. I only asked them which digital tools we can actually bring when we are doing our field trip. Now, besides digital camera and digital for a mobile phone, they also insist to bring laptop. Alright, since then our school doesn't have laptops, so I decided to bring my own laptop. Now, at this phase, they were collecting data, right? They're just collecting data. They are just collecting photograph pictures, and they're just collecting information. And when we return back to school, the students start to compile this evidence, compile their research, compile this experience into the PowerPoint slides. Now, this PowerPoint slides will later be used in the ending product. Now, besides creating a slideshow using PowerPoint, they were also requested to create a comic book strip. Now, unfortunately, the computers in my school doesn't have Comic Live app software, so again, I have to lend them my computers. Now, and the last phase of this project was they shared the information, they shared what they have done, we invited all the students to the room, to the ICT lab, and they started to present what they found out, what they have done with, during the field trip, and so on. Now, in summary, it involves basic or common tools like email accounts, like ED, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, other software such as Comic Live. It involves some 21st century such as collaboration, creativity, use of technologies. And of course, during the session, when this project was run, they were expected to speak in English language. Now, unfortunately, my brave story too, my laptop was stolen. Unfortunately, my laptop was stolen. You know, this one, the red one, unfortunately, was stolen. So I don't have any picture. I tried to search it on my Facebook or Instagram, but I couldn't get the photos. However, my Serbian teachers have actually illustrated my project like that. Alright? Now, for this project, I actually moved to a bigger school with 27 students. Now, this project is also dealing with communication. I'm trying to improve their communication using digital tools. Now, what I did was I pictures it like a NASA where you have the mission control on the Earth and you have your astronaut out on the space. So, I divided the students into few groups. We did this during the school holiday. The A group, for example, the A group is actually in schools, and while the second group is actually at the restaurant. Now, the students who are in the restaurant actually don't know what to be expected. However, the machine control consists of several information, several questions, several puzzles that they need to get information from the second team. Now, I use Skype for this medium because Skype have a video conference call, so it helps them to communicate from the mission control to the students in the restaurant. So they started to communicate in English. The machine control elicit the questions. For example, how many chairs are there in the restaurant? What kind of food are there in the restaurant? All those kind of questions that are reasonable. And when I was at one end of the student group, now the students were really excited because this is the first time they have ever used video calls before. But the meaning of the learning journey is it was really effective because they know what the objective is. The objective was questioning, the objective was finding answers, and deliver the answer to their friends at the mission control. Now, in summary, they were using Skype, involved communication acceleration, use of mobile devices such as laptop, cameras, and video 3G broadband, and yes, they were expected to use English language. Now, the third brave story that I would like to share is the collaboration between a school and Taiwan. It's Chiao Cheng Elementary School. Now, the first idea, they approached me if I would like to do a collaboration between my students with their students. So I said, yes, why not? This idea was to share the reading book, to share the culture. Chinese, Taiwan culture. But my objective was for my students to communicate well in English with their students. But along the journey, I found the objective to be very diverse. It's not about my students using English correctly with foreign students, but they also gain some valuable lesson. They learn about Taiwan culture, they learn about students in Taiwan, they learn about generally, a lot of things that they have learned during the process of 4 months. Now, technically we have a conference using Skype every Tuesday. So we actually have exchanged communication through emails, we also exchange puzzles, we also use Google Maps to actually find the school, where exactly the schools on the map, and they actually have drawn our school from their prediction, how does our school looks like, and we also exchange books, ebooks, alright? But the funny thing about this is that the more we form this relation collaboration, the more of my students interested to learn more what's happening on the other side of the world. So in summary, as I just said just now, is my intentions was actually to optimize real-life English language communications with foreign students, but also I learned that it also fosters student metacognitions and for global learning. They understand that in order to collaborate with other parts of the world, they need digital tools, they need internet, they need Skype, for example, because these tools are very important. Without this tool, without this technology, the collaborations with the students in Taiwan won't be dynamic, won't be fun if we're not using this technology. Now, if you see this picture, this full picture, I'm not in it. If you can see, I'm not in it. Because I was just a facilitator. I was not using any devices except for camera. I took pictures of camera. But the right side, the student who took the picture, it wasn't me. So, it wasn't me who were using the technology. It wasn't me. They selected what technology to use. They created their own content, what questions to be find out, to be asked, what information needed to be collected. So it becomes much more personal. They are the author of this project. I only facilitate and only look after them as I orchestra the project. All right? Now, innovative features are needed because objectively it enriches maximum 21st century features in learning. Its dynamic process engage well with our digital native pupils. It supports expectations of pupils to practice 21st century skills. It supports higher thinking order and bring about metacognitions and dialogic teachings and learning. It opens to dialogue teaching and learning. All right? Now, last but not least, teachers in Brunei, I know the budget has become structured, but we are being expected more. We need to do more, and we need to do more. Not just because of our school, but we need to realize our economy, especially our Vision 2035. Now, we need to have a balance, all right? I'm not talking about balanced diet, no. But I'm talking about balanced learning here. Now, I know that ICT is important, but there is time that we need to go back, step a little back forward, and practice the writing skills, the checkpoint assessment skills, the PSR skills. We do need that. So we need to have a balance with this. We ask students to go to the ICT lab or innovative space, to use technology, to do some research, go to the internet, find details, find information using the computers. But overall, they need to have a balance with the real academic activities in the classroom. Now, the funny thing about my student teaching in primary school is, if today you brought them to the ICT room, they had fun, they did the research, they find the meaning of things, they learn about vocabulary, they play around in the internet. The next day when you go to the same class, the first thing they will ask you, ICT first, ICT sir. So sometimes these digital natives really want to use technologies. But as educators, we need to remind ourselves that we need to be balanced, all right? Now, work with what you have. As a primary school educator in the government sectors, you need to use what you have. It's really hard to get more, as the budget gets more structured. But we also need to be like Pepsi. Ask for more, all right? Don't be shy. If you have the opportunity to talk with your principal, you want this, just share it. And hopefully, someday in the future, soon they will get the technologies or resources that you need. Alright? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Walid. And now I would like to open the floor to any questions for Mr. Walid.